What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here, and we just watched in theaters Demon Slayer to the Swordsmith Village, which is essentially an event that's happening right now where they are showing the last two episodes of the last season of Demon Slayer and then the first episode of the Swordsmith Village arc. And we watched that, and we're going to talk about it. So before we jump into spoilers, I just want to let you guys know that I personally really enjoyed this a lot. In the beginning, they had this cool montage of like the first two seasons before the entertainment district arc. That was great. And then we watched the two episodes. If you guys have, hopefully you guys have seen those from the last season. And it's really cool to see that on the big screen. Translated really well. In fact, I'd love to just watch every episode of Demon Slayer on the big screen because it was fucking phenomenal. The sound, the visual, just the quality on that big screen looked great. And those last two episodes, hopefully you've seen them, are epic as fuck. You got Uzui Tengen and I forgot his name, but the creepy demon guy, the dirty guy. What the fuck was his name? I forgot.
It's been a while.
His
sister's name is Ume or Daki, depending on what form she's in.
Yeah, that whole thing was awesome to see. Super intense. I forgot how fucked up it was. What happens to Tanjiro, and then that whole fight, he's just getting his ass kicked, fingers broken, getting poisoned, all sorts of shit. Just normal stuff, normal Demon Slayer stuff. And yeah, so we get a cool montage. We get the two episodes, and then we get, I feel like it was like a 40-minute first episode. I think it was
an hour.
An hour. It was something.
So that would be like 47 minutes because they make room for commercials and stuff. So
yeah, it was big. And before we jump into spoilers, in case you don't want to hear anything about this because you might not have seen this because it's not out yet, it was really good. It got me really pumped for the next season of Demon Slayer. We will 100% be covering it episode by episode as it comes out in April. And this first episode got me really excited for where things are going. It does... it carries over a lot of the stuff you know and love from the show so far, but it's going in a direction that feels different, fresh, and I'm really interested in where things are going. So, yeah. And then also, if you get a chance to see us in theaters, I would highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Demon Slayer, even if you kind of like it, I think it's worth it. It was a lot of fun to sit there and essentially watch Demon Slayer for about the length of a movie. And then, like I said, that beginning montage I thought was a really cool touch that made it feel like an event. It made it feel like we're transitioning into a new season and to be excited for it.
Yeah, the only thing I would add, though, because I saw some people online complaining because they didn't do any research before going and seeing it. You are going to watch episodes you've seen before you see the new one. There is,
which I knew going into.
It's 3 episodes. Yeah, well, apparently some people didn't. I saw people complaining that they paid money to go see something they've seen before. So,
but they still saw the episode they didn't see.
Yeah.
Anyways,
just putting that out there. You're gonna see the last 2 episodes last season. Just
show up late if you don't want to see that, I guess. But if you're a fan of the show, it was kind of nice rewatching those episodes because I've only seen the show once. So,
well, they connect because there's obviously what happens at the end, and it immediately goes into what we see between every season, which is the in between moments before the next mission. So.
Yeah, and kind of a brief spoiler. The first episode literally starts where the last episode ends. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's kind of nice to get that connective point. I kind of appreciated that. So, yeah, do you have any thoughts or anything you want to say when it comes to the experience without spoilers?
It was fun. I've never really done anything like this. The only anime movie we've really saw was One Piece Film Red outside of this. I am curious to go see some others at this point.
I want to see that Suzume.
Yeah, that looks cool. Yeah. And like visually, it's fine, right? We have crazy displays in our homes these days, so like that part of the experience isn't, that different. But the size, obviously, and then the sound are really kind of where I can't blast my speakers that much.
Yeah.
We have neighbors and stuff like that. You have to be considerate of others. So. So in that regard, getting to see that experience in that way and getting those full like rich sounds and stuff like that was fun, especially in the fight in those last 2 episodes from last season. Some of the contact sound effects they use for the swords hitting, whether it's another sword or flesh, were like these really deep bassy hits that were really fun to experience that way. And then I also liked the beginning montage part. I thought it was done really well. I was kind of wondering if they were just going to immediately throw us into those episodes or
yeah,
what.
I didn't know if like the episode's going to start up and we'd watch it. It'd be fine that way as well. But like the whole thing is like in the very beginning, it gives you a little brief like black screen where it explains like this is what happened to Tanjiro and his family, and he's going to get revenge, or he's going to go get the person who did that to his family. And then we get the music from the first season, and then a montage of the first season, and then we get music from Mugen Train, and then we get a montage of what happened in Mugen Train, and then most of the entertainment district, and then it kind of leaves off where those two episodes start.
And then we get the episode intro.
Yeah.
And I thought it was handled well. I'm glad they tailored a experience instead of just dropping episodes. So that was pleasant.
Yeah.
And then as far as the new episode goes, without talking about details of it, that was very enjoyable as well.
It's fucking crispy looking. That's a new episode.
It is funny to watch like modern anime because there's always such long breaks in between seasons now that technology and skills get better and you see it in the progression of the show versus like when you're watching something like an old school shonen, you're there for the entire progression. So you don't notice until you go backwards and you watch an old episode. You're like, oh wow, that looks crazy old now.
Yeah.
But it was more gradual versus you tend to see higher jumps in modern day anime. So,
it seemed like it because we watched 2 episodes of the last season, and this new season, the last season looked great, but this new one, especially in one scene we'll talk about, I was really impressed with how movie-like it looked.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, it was a good time. I think it was worth going to the theater and seeing if you're, on the fence about it. And I don't know,
as long as you're cool with watching those last 2 episodes. If you didn't know about that, I mean, you should read about what you're gonna go watch. But
it's mind blowing.
But those episodes are good; they're worth it. So like, that seems wild to me.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a good time. We would totally recommend.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to go full spoilers now into the first episode of the Swordsmith Village arc. So if you don't want to hear anything about that, you can just leave us now. Or if you just want to hear about what we thought of it, hang out. So quick recap. Only saw that episode once in a theater, and it was very cool. But from what I remember, it essentially leaves off where the last of the last season's episode ends. This huge battle happened. Cataclysmic, apocalyptic battle where the whole fucking town is just destroyed, and you got Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu, and Nezuko, all kind of huddled up, and you got the I forget what they're called, but the guys from the Demon Slayer Corp show up, like the little underlings.
I don't know their title, but they're the ones that cover their faces and basically do all the grunt work.
Yeah, they come in to the rescue to grab everybody, then we get this really long, crazy sequence of Muzan calling in all the demons, the top upper 5 demons, which is very interesting. We'll talk about it now that we are down a demon because I can't remember his name, died and failed Muzan. He's bringing in everybody. And we get this crazy long sequence of Akaza going through the Infinity Castle for this meeting that's going to happen. And we get an introduction of the top 5 upper demons. And I can't remember any of their names, but they're all very different, which I appreciated. And we got like the number 1 guy who's like a samurai type dude. We'll talk about him in a sec. We got this guy that comes out of like a jar or whatever, or a vase or something like that. It's like a snake dude with like mouths for eyes. We got I think he had been seen before in the origin story of the number 6 demon. We only briefly saw him, but I think he's like the number 2.
Yeah, he's kind of like happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, he's kind of like a more like flamboyant, like happy-go-lucky dude. He's got I actually kind of like his design. Like he really
looks cool as hell.
Yeah, he's really like neon colored, but like it's a cool design. He's not like annoying looking. And then got some old guy who's hiding over on the stairs. during this meeting.
He looks like an Oni.
I mean, he's in the top 5, so of course he's going to be dangerous, but he's definitely different than everybody else. And then Akaza, of course, number 3. And yeah, they essentially all show up, and Muzin's really upset because they haven't lost an upper demon in like 150 years or something like that.
Something like that.
It's been a long time, and it's finally happened. Just like in the last episode of the last season, I can't remember his name, but the guy who runs the Demon Slayer Corp, he's talking about we haven't been able to do anything. We haven't really been able to budge.
The winds of change are coming.
Yeah, everything's something happened.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing that on the opposite end. Muzin saying like, this should have never happened. He feels like they're not working hard enough. He feels like he's been too relaxed on them, and that's going to change. There's like 2 locations or something he mentions that they just can't locate and can't get to. And he needs them to essentially get things rolling. This is not the direction he wants things to go in. And also they need to find a replacement to the number 6, because now that's open. And then a couple interesting things between the characters too. There seems to be no camaraderie between these upper demons. Akaza doesn't like the goofy kind of flamboyant type dude, and wants the spot of the number 1, who's the samurai guy. He openly tells him like, I'm gonna take your place at some point. He's like, okay, try it sometime. So there's definitely a different hierarchy in this system. It's very competitive. And nobody's friends, so it's very interesting. They're all sent off to essentially get this situation sorted, and then we go back to essentially recovery. Tanjiro's been in a coma for like months. 2 months. 2 months. He wakes up. A lot of the usual characters are there trying to take care of him, but they're all surprised he's awake. They're all celebrating. They're all happy. There's a funny moment where Tanjiro's not sure if he's hallucinating or not, but he sees Inosuke on the ceiling, and it's in fact Inosuke's on the ceiling, like spying on them. Funny moments ensue there. You can just go watch it and find out for yourself, I guess. And Zenitsu is on a mission, but he doesn't want to be on it. Go figure. So yeah, he's off on a mission. He recovered quickly, which kind of makes sense because in the end of the last season, he got buried under a building, but like that's about it. Whereas like Inosuke got run through
where his heart was supposed to be
with poison blades. Yeah. And they also mentioned too that even though poison doesn't affect him very well, medicine doesn't really either. So that's kind of an interesting little detail they added there. And then Tanjiro was out, but he obviously was fighting till the very bitter end. So during all this celebration, the Tanjiro's back. He passes out again because he's still in recovery. He goes through rehabilitation. They got him kind of jogging around, trying to get all the things moving again the way they should be. And they discuss that his weapon was broken. And if you guys remember, I don't remember his name, but the guy who made his sword is very touchy about what happens to his work. Mm-hmm. And he sent a letter, I guess, and it was very aggressive.
It was basically like die.
It's like die, don't talk to me, blah blah blah. So anyway, they can't get in contact with him, so they're gonna send Tanjiro to the Swordsmith village, which obviously is what this is titled after. And it's very interesting because to make sure this place can't be compromised by the demons in this whole war, nobody knows the actual way to get to the Swordsmith village, so he has to be escorted by one person while they carry him while he's blindfolded and he can't hear anything, and then he gets switched
and
to
his nose plugged because he has heightened smell.
And then he has to switch to another person who runs the rest of the way, and then another person who runs the rest of the way, and they just keep switching off, so nobody knows the full way to get to the Swordsmith village, just to kind of emphasize the secrecy of this place. He gets there. It's a village just full of swordsmiths. They say there's swordsmiths everywhere. They're all working on swords for the cause, and everybody's got like a swordsmith kind of assigned to him, and his apparently is missing. They haven't been back for a while, so that's kind of a mystery that I'm sure we will find out more as the actual season starts up. We don't get a conclusion to that in this episode. He meets up with, I forgot her name, but she's very colorful.
Starts with an M, but yeah.
Yeah. one of the main demon slayers that we had, or Hashira, that we had seen in prior episodes. She's excited to see him. They hang out a little bit. Also, the scary, crazy looking one with the mohawk is there as well.
Yeah, he's just a demon slayer. He's not a Hashira.
Yeah, but there's something up with him. They keep showing him.
Yeah,
so
he's
there
the one
as well.
who was at the event to become a demon slayer with Tanjiro.
And then later he's walking down the hallway and he bumps into him. And he gets crazy. He's like, "Don't touch me." He looks insane. Well, he's still doing that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's implied he's related to one of the Hashiran.
Yeah, something like that. We'll find out more, I'm sure. But yeah, so he's there. He's trying to get his sword figured out, and he also goes to they have a hot spring there, so he's using that for rehabilitation. And then the girl Hashira, at one point when they're getting ready to split up after they've been hanging out for a little bit, her and Nezuko become really buddy in this episode as well, which I thought was interesting. Tells him that there's like a secret in this town.
I don't. It was secret, but I can't remember if she said secret weapon or just secret.
Yeah,
but that it would be fun to look for it or something like that.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Which I think kind of alludes to the end where the whole thing's happening. So yeah. Anyway, eventually the episode. How does Tanjiro end up in the woods? I forgot that detail.
He was wandering he was looking for something. I can't remember exactly what it was now. Oh, he went to go look for whatever she was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also implies a little bit, it might just be the whole Japanese, like, fucking somebody gets flirtatious with you go, ooh, but it kind of implied to me that he might kind of have a crush on this girl.
I think it was more so just a frustration because she's very not worried about like exuding like a romantic and a sexual side. And he's very, he's a good boy. So
he's a very good boy. So he's going through the woods and he eventually comes upon, I don't remember his name, but another one of the Hashira, the guy in like almost the teal coloring
with the bored face.
Yeah. And he's talking with this little dude trying to get a key from him, and we see the back of the samurai number one upper demon guy. And then one thing to note too, this number one upper demon guy has the same color hair as Tanjiro. Has in a flashback shows his dad and that guy together. He's got the same earrings as Tanjiro. And so there's definitely some kind of...
the flashback was a dream. It wasn't a flashback.
Oh, it wasn't?
Tanjiro's dream.
It was just a dream?
Scene. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Because I'm pretty sure in the first season that guy is literally Tanjiro's dad. So...
Well, that's what I was wondering. Because when I saw him, I was like...
But he's like weak and feeble, but he does the fire dance and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it could very well be his dad or someone related to him, but it's definitely trying to imply there's a connection here because he has the same earrings, same color hair.
Yeah, from that sword style that the earrings represent.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. And the episode I think ends there, right?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, and then we get the outro sequence, which will be the intro sequence.
Yeah, it's the OP.
I'm not going to tell you step by step what happens in it, but I actually really like it. I think it's the song was good. The visuals are really cool. It was better than Nier's intro, and
visually, I like the music in Nier's better. But.
I think I like the music in this better, but visually, 100%. Like we can agree on that because I was like, oh, this looks great, and now I'm thinking like most of them look pretty good, but then I think about Nier's, I'm like, God, what were they doing with that? So what were your impressions of episode 1 of the next arc?
I think it was assuming it is just a big old 1 hour episode.
What if it was 2 episodes combined?
God, I hope not.
I don't think it is.
I think it's just a special but that being said, I was curious, like, obviously why are we going to Swordsmith Village, but I like that it was something simple that he needs a sword fix and he hasn't heard from his his guy.
I feel like he's going there for something monotonous like that, like rehabilitation, get his sword figured out, but he's gonna come upon some kind of secret,
which is basically the end of the episode type of thing. It's it's a lot different than him being sent on a mission. He's like still trying to get to a point where he can be part of a mission because he doesn't have a weapon right now.
Yeah.
And then the fact that you see like so many other Demon Slayers there rehabilitating, getting work done on their weapons and stuff. It's a very cool like world building thing, but it's also like a good chance to kind of break up the way they've been doing, because every time it's been like you're going on a mission, you're going on a mission, you're going on a mission, like so. I like that aspect of it. I like the idea of how secret it is, and getting a little more personality out of characters we knew, meeting some new characters like the very short and old. What was his title again? Basically, he's like the mayor of the city or the town.
He's like the top dog,
what
top.
The hell is the word they use
Smith.
for that? But yeah, it's his town. He's in charge. So, and he's very full of himself. And when Tanjiro just accepts all of his self praise, he like relaxes and he's like, "Okay, have some candy."
I also like too that he was talking about punishing Tanjiro's swordsmith
for making weapons that break.
Yeah.
And then disappearing.
It just kind of shows that the whole town's kind of under the same idea of like the quality needs to be good.
Yeah.
And so it kind of explains why not all of them would maybe react the same way that his guy does. But his guy obviously takes a lot of pride in his own work, but he also is in a town where other people are noticing that as well.
Yeah.
And so he's always stressed out and freaking out about it. And they kind of imply that they're going to punish him, and it almost sounds like they're going to like kill him or something.
It is very ominous.
Yeah. Because Tanjiro's like, you're not going to do anything bad to him, are you? And they're like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
So, it's funny.
That was fun for sure. Then that being outside of that, just like the updated art and the OP and stuff like that, I liked a lot. It's hard to say a whole lot because it's a pretty straightforward episode, but it was full of a lot of stuff that I like about the show, which is when they have comedy moments, they're just completely full 100%. Like, we're gonna be ridiculous, we're gonna give really plain faces and crazy expressions, and Inosuke is going to be on a ceiling and, stuff like that. So, and that's definitely part of the charm of the show. And then,
well, the show has a really good, we've talked about this before when we were reviewing the prior episodes, but the show has a really good pacing of like big epic fight scene, whatever, and then some downtime. And that's like a thing that's in a lot of anime, but they definitely have like a good formula that they do, and they're really good at executing good, funny moments. And this episode, following what happened in the last couple episodes of last season, is definitely needed.
Yeah, and then just like very barely at the end, like just enough to go, there's a story to come, type of thing.
Yeah,
so.
Why is that guy, like Hashira, hang out with that dude? What's going on with this key?
Yeah.
Like, so, it's weird.
Which is good because obviously we need a catalyst for the show, and it was probably a really good spot to end the episode anyways.
It's perfect. I just wanted more.
Yeah. And then the sequence with the meeting of the top 5, we'll call them now, was very like cool eye candy. I am gonna throw a disclaimer out there: if you are one of those like CG shouldn't touch anime people, though, you're gonna hate it. But
it looks great.
It looked great.
It looks great. It was very well done. It's super imaginative, and with the music and the imagination of it, it was very cool.
And they just constantly played with camera angles and stuff.
Yeah.
Like camera angles the whole time.
It gives you an even better sense of just how ridiculously big this place is.
Yeah. Well, infinity, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they really played with that a lot.
Yeah. No, it's fun.
It's like a solid 3-minute sequence of him just traveling through this place, and it's just like wild looking, crazy visuals and like awesome music building everything up.
When Muzen's talking, and that's just like sometimes it's looking through a beaker, and sometimes it's looking at him from afar, and then he's upside down, and like I don't know, it was fun. They had a lot of fun with that. That translated into a fun experience watching as well. So
yeah,
but yeah, that's my impressions.
I really like this episode. Got me really excited for the next season. I'm upset, and I was upset when we finished this episode because I'm like, so when's that start? Because like I was almost like annoyed. I'm
That
like,
was the
hold
first
on.
thing out of your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Just as soon as it ended, I'm like, when's this start? Because I'm fucking ready.
Yeah.
The episode's great. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a really good transition from the last episode. The humor was really good. I'm kind of a stickler when it comes to humor. Like I can find things funny, but to get like an audible laugh from me, it's kind of hard. And so the humor in this, I already like the characters, but the humor's funny as well. So they go really well. Together, Inosuke crawling on the ceiling and shit was hilarious.
And then it's to trying to leave his duty.
Yeah.
Because he's cold and he doesn't want to.
Just whining all the time. I love it. The intro sequence though with the upper five was really cool. It was nice to see them get some faces to them. They're all super menacing in different ways, which I thought was really cool. You had people who were just like straight up ugly and creepy, and then you had people who like one dude's just a samurai with 6 eyes, which is horrifying. His face is scary.
Kind of came off like a moth appearance on his face.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But like otherwise, he just comes off as just a samurai, which I love. I'm hoping when he fights somebody, it's gonna be like a samurai fight. That'd be fucking sick. I already liked Akaza. I don't like what he did to Rengoku, but like I thought he was a cool villain.
Oh, that fight was so
the fight
good.
was awesome. He fights like a monk, which I think is cool. He has like kind of that agile like punching, kicking thing going on. So he's cool. The other dude is really interesting as well. The one who converted the upper 6 guy from last season. It's gonna drive me nuts. I can't remember his name. It started with a G. I can't remember, whatever. But yeah, he's interesting. Guy on the stairs. He reminds me of the sniper from Metal Gear Solid 3. Like there's just something about him. He's just in the background, but like he's got some bullshit he can pull. So I'm curious about what he can do.
It's funny how him and the one you're about to mention, I assume, are also like really heavily based off like demon archetypes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then the guy who comes out of the fucking jar of peanut butter, fucking I saw him, I was like, that guy's cannon fodder. They're gonna kill that guy off. He's gonna be the next one. Like they're gonna build up Akaza, they're gonna build up the samurai guy, they're gonna build up the colorful guy. But like the old guy, I don't know anything about what he's gonna do, so I can't really read that. But the guy with the mouths for eyes, he definitely seems like somebody they're gonna send in and he's gonna get killed. So sooner than later probably, but we'll see. I don't know what any of them do, but I'm excited to see what they do.
Well, I was saying the OP, they're like the main 2, it seems to like, and then there's 2 Hashira, so there's gonna be a lot packed into the season, it seems.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because the thing that's been really cool about this show is the first season was just kind of like Tanjiro and them like building up their characters. I can't remember anybody's names though because I haven't watched it in a while, but the original guy that saves Tanjiro, he was kind of there a little bit in the first season, but not like regularly.
Oh, the masked dude. Oh, no, you're talking about the
Hashira.
Hashiran, yeah. I can't remember his name either. He's the water style guy though.
Yeah.
Water breathing.
But then like in the Mugen Train arc, they get to hang out with Rengoku, and of course it's the last time they hang out with Rengoku, but we got to see a lot of him and their dynamic together. And then the next one they got Izui Tengen, and he's completely different than Rengoku, but also super powerful. And so it'd be really cool to see in this new season what 2 Hashira are going to be like, because we haven't had a season like that yet.
Especially because it seems like, because the OP, we have, one gal who, she has like a whip sword, it looks like. Mm-hmm. The other guy would
some kind of whip. She was swinging around. Yeah.
Well, and at the other guy during the episode,
sword.
She's getting modifications under her weapon, and she has to oversee the final steps. So I assume that's because her weapon it looks like a whip. It's probably pretty complicated.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so this season I feel like we're gonna get some fights that because I was thinking after the Rengoku fight, I'm like, how are they gonna beat this? And then after last season, I'm like, how are they gonna beat that? That was like completely apocalyptic. The only thing you could do to top that is destroy the planet. But I think we're gonna get maybe some more like not quaint, but like some more out of the city fights that are going to be happening out in this location, and it seems like there's going to be more than one person involved with this one, which would make sense.
Yeah, we're going to have multiple fights.
So which will be really cool. I'm really excited to see that. So anyway, seeing the new upper 5 is really cool. I'm also curious about what they're going to do with the 6th position, if somebody from the lower is going to move up or what's going to happen there. We'll
Are there
find
any
out.
lower left?
I don't know. I thought there
think
was.
they're all dead.
Oh no, he killed them off.
Yeah, I think they're all dead.
You're right. Because he sent the one for the Mugen Train thing.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna have to find someone else. They're gonna have to convert Tanjiro. Yeah, and then the rehab thing was cool. It was a lot of fun, a lot of humor there. I like one of my favorite things about this episode is the world building. There's a lot of interesting world building in this show, but last season didn't really do a whole lot of that. It was all about this, covert ops, figure out what's going on in this town, and then the crazy fight at the end. But we didn't get much of the information on the world. But in this first episode alone, just kind of knowing where the swords come from, what the culture's like from people at the Swordsmith village, how it's so secretive to even get out there, that they take measures to make sure nobody can find it, sabotage their ability to have weapons, and then understanding more about the Upper Five. There's a lot of information we got from just one episode about the world, which I really enjoyed. I thought the time with the girl Hashira and Tanjiro and Nezuko was a lot of fun, because we didn't get much from her before. I thought the spa, the hot spring scene was funny, where Tanjiro gets in the hot spring with that pissed off guy. That was kind of ridiculous. And
They're just trying to bond over nudity.
Yeah. It's like, I thought we could bond with our nakedness because they're both just naked in a hot spring, but the guy doesn't want anything to do with him. Which I mean is fair. If I was in a hot spring and some guy was trying to hang out and talk to me, I'd be
We
like,
have a very different culture anyways.
yeah, for sure. I'd be like, why are you even here? Yeah, I'm curious about what happened with his swordsmith, and I'm curious about where things are going with this key and why the samurai and the Hashira are hanging out. Obviously, things aren't going to be as they seem, but it's a really good cliffhanger to leave me waiting fucking until April to start this. Among
other shows.
Yeah, for sure. But overall, really good first episode. I really enjoyed it. This whole thing just got me really pumped for Demon Slayer again. Like, we were watching it, I really liked it, but then I was like, yeah, we're watching other things now. Chainsaw Man, everything's Chainsaw Man. I love Chainsaw Man. And then I watched this, I was like, I forgot fucking Demon Slayer's like sick. Love this shit. So, really excited for this upcoming season. Great episode, great event. I'd recommend it. And yeah. You got anything?
I think that about covers it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty... it's a long episode, but event-wise, it's not a lot. So,
yeah. All right. Well, that is our spoiler discussion on the first episode of the next season, the Swordsmith Village arc. Let us know in the comments. Have you had a chance to watch this yet? If you didn't, why'd you stick around? Maybe you just wanted to hear about it. If you did watch this, what'd you think of it? Did you see this event, or is there other ways to watch this episode? No. So,
wow.
I'm sure that's why I'm wondering if there's like other means you could have watched this.
You could acquire it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what'd you think of this? What do you think about where it's going? Is there any specifics that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about? And let me know everything you're thinking about when it comes to Demon Slayer and where things are going in the comments below. I've been Seth, this has been Chevy, and until the next episode, we will talk to you guys later.